We will call this August 14 Brown County Commission meeting to order. Nancy, please, the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First item on our agenda, we have Susan Kahan, Circuit Court Administrator, Multicultural Center, to discuss our contract for interpreter services.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. I gave Max a copy. I don't know if she gave all of you copies or just one of
It's in
them.
our packet.
Okay.
Go through it.
The Multicultural Center is the center that we use for interpreters. And the times in which we use them is normally when, one, we can't find a local interpreter, and two, when we have a hearing that we may need to have more than one interpreter on board. And that is normally during trials, because we can't expect one interpreter to come in and do a whole trial. So they ping off on each other. We have been using them, and you've been paying their bills for the last 2 years, but they also provide services to independent people. With that said, I'm sure that they, like a lot of other vendors, run into people who don't pay their bills, and they have now moved towards having a contract in place that says, yes, I agree to pay according to your terms. So there's really nothing different in this other than the fact that they're just asking, will you please sign this so that we know that you are in agreement with what we are asking. And we've been doing that for 2 years already.
And I see the numbers here. It looks like in 2017 there was $2,490 spent, and as of July of this year there's been 0 spent. So it's not like it's a big ticket item.
No, it isn't, because we have other alternative resources that we do use. But like I said, this is a people-based business. So when we need to bring people on board, or we need to have somebody that we can use through our ITD, we will do that rather than bring them all the way up here. You know, bring them up here is not cheap.
Right.
I mean, you guys have paid some bills that we know. We've had them up here. We've had 2 of them, and it's not an inexpensive bill. But by the same token, like I said, I'm sure that they've got people that don't pay their bills. We've never had that issue, but they're protecting themselves as well.
Their rate is $55 per hour. Is that pretty standard to what you're currently, if you use somebody local?
Yep.
I would entertain a motion to have the chair sign the Multicultural Center contract.
Second.
So they come up from Sioux Falls usually? Or
Yes.
we pay mileage into
Yes.
them?
Yep, 42 cents a mile, according to the contract.
We line it all up and make sure we've got everybody on board, so that if it's a go, it's a go, and if we know it's not a go, we'll try and get them notified as quickly as possible.
We have a motion by Hanson, a second by Sutton, to authorize the chair to sign the Multicultural Center agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan. I guess we're almost a minute off is all, so I think we can... Next item is we discuss the solid waste special assessment fee for 2019 and budget accumulation.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Morning, everybody.
Good. Morning. Have you had a chance to look at that a little bit? What are your thoughts?
As far as?
Well, the solid waste, I think it's been years since that's been updated.
2012, I think we determined was the last time there was an increase. Our tipping fee or the special assessment?
Special assessment,
Yep.
I don't believe the tipping fees are included, it's just the...
Right.
Just this session.
What percentage did you figure that you raised? These are Dwayne's numbers. Dwayne, what did you use?
Didn't use a
7%?
percentage, we just went and put a reasonable amount in each one, and they were all boiled down to either $12 or $6
Yep.
a year, except for
Seasonally.
the seasonal lake cabins. Now we just rounded up to an even 50 for the year. So there was no percentage, just what I felt was a reasonable increase for the year.
They look very fair and reasonable to me.
I think it is, you know, it's an ongoing process for us, and those fees just help pay it.
Yeah.
And we don't know where the contract's gonna end up. That hauling contract is up here in 2020, March of 2020. So, you know, that's just a year away. So that'll be another what if, you know, what happens with that contract. So whether we have bidders or whether we have to join the hauling business, I guess we'll soon see. But
How many
And
trucks,
this-
how many trucks would we need?
two,
Could you do it with two?
you'd need
If
you
that's
need
enough.
one and you'd need a backup. So
You could keep up with one, huh?
they do now, one.
So you could
That's
just...
because they've got two trucks. but-
This is
Yeah.
this year's, yeah.
Lake lot with no
So this is
We have to do
buildings
it
on them,
anyway.
don't
beginning of the
charge.
first year.
Not to my knowledge.
Right, okay.
I'd have to ask Max on that one, I don't know. I don't think they do.
It has to have some type of a building on it for a parcel to get charged, even lake lots and things like that.
Right.
If there's no building.
If there's no building, they're not charged.
Yeah.
This is last year's resolution, I mean, actually for this year's tax notice resolution, so I didn't change any of the dates, I just used this as a sim.
Right.
But it would be the same resolution with just the new amounts if you go that route.
For next year.
Typically, it's just owner-occupied all the time, isn't it?
No, anything with, that generates garbage,
Okay.
yeah.
And it's a little difficult to tell what this would generate
This
revenue
just shows
because we
what
really
we
don't
raised
know
since 97, right?
how many of each we
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
So,
This sheet just shows what we, the original numbers are in here from 97, is that right?
No,
2012.
It sounds like that's when they first wrote the resolution and then it was amended, maybe.
that's the ordinance that gives you the authority to set these.
Nice, okay.
He's looking at that first paragraph where it says
Yeah.
effective.
yeah, I see that.
So we need to amend our resolution then too.
Well, just a new resolution.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we do the proposed increases as provided to the solid waste assessment fee.
I would second, I think that's reasonable.
Motion by Sutton, second by Fishback to approve the increase in the solid waste fees. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And it will be roll call.
Okay. Budget. You're here to discuss the budget.
Just approve mine and I can leave. Good. So if we don't, how long are you gonna stay? Well, I guess as long as we can purchase what we need to and keep our expenses and revenues in check and you know, it's an ongoing thing with landfill. We've always had some major expenses, you know, another 5 years, we'll be looking at another $2 million.
And equipment out there.
You know, equipment, you know, we just purchased the payloader, so next year we're looking at a compactor for about $700,000 or give or take, and there's some major expenses and always some unknowns that you don't know. Like I said, we got a hauling contract coming up in another year. You don't know what kind of an expense you're gonna have with that. You know, if we got haulers that can accommodate that contract again, or if we don't. And like I said, we got improvements on site, whether we want to do some asphalt work, you know, get rid of some of the dust that we've got out there on some of our gravel roads, you know, all that's expensive. And we've been working for the last 26 years, generating tipping fees, paying our expenses, keeping all that in check, and that's, you know, where those are dedicated to go, is to try and maintain that facility, so. Next year's budget, you know, we've got some wants, or, you know, we're looking at the fire station site to try and improve that location, and obviously that's a major expense. It's not guaranteed that'll happen, but it is in the budget for next year.
Not the way the budget sits right now, Mike. I mean, in your proposed budget it was.
In my proposed budget, it was.
I'm trying to figure out the differences here, maybe someone can explain
guess-
it to me.
You guys can-
1,150,000. Very last page.
Yeah, on the, comparing the first we had to hear, we're down 850,000 below it. But then there's, go ahead, I'm
The
sorry. to interrupt you.
850,000 is the fire station update, purchasing land and that.
Okay,
And then the 2 million is the operating transfer to the general.
okay, that's what that is. So
So
this
it's the
was,
net of the 1,150.
so this was for the fire station update and,
The 850 is out of there.
Are we looking at this one? Which sheet are you looking at right now?
The white
Nancy's
sheet.
just on the cheat sheet.
Just on this sheet.
so that's all we're lowering there, plus we're transferring money out to help with the general budget.
Taking the 850 out and
And then taking another 2. You're not saying,
And that-
ouch.
well, obviously as a manager of that facility and
Yeah.
and generating that revenue over the years and keeping things balanced and in check, of course I don't want to see that kind of money come out of that budget or come out of that fund.
Well, one of the things we're up against is we only have very limited
Yeah,
resources.
I realize
for
what we're up
additional
against.
revenue, and that is one of the options with the enterprise fund.
Right.
It's one area that does generate additional income.
Well, there's fees.
We're hoping that the special assessment fee increase helps offset a little bit, that we know it won't be a lot.
In there.
Right.
We won't know until the end of the year, but at least it should offset some of that.
Well, we need-
Not 850,000, but some.
Right. Any of this gonna change next year?
No.
I won't be
No,
here.
those are just...
You know what I mean? So this Band-Aid is gonna finish this year, and then we're gonna be back there again next year.
This shows, I just put another column.
So if it's gonna be a
Okay.
So-
solution for us, we need to know how much that fund generates, and that's what I'm looking at this page annually, because you gotta make up the money you're taking from it somewhere in order to be ready for the next sell you're talking about.
You know, average, I would say we're
Figured it.
a $2 million a year facility.
Yeah,
Tipping
that's what I was
fees
looking
and
at.
revenue from the assessment.
Net gain, 2 million.
Yeah.
They generate revenue of about an average.
Revenue of about 2, I don't know where our net gain would be, but...
So you're not taking your expenses off that?
Right.
But, because
It all depends, you know, our budget for this year was-
But I can't predict that.
Where it is
Keep in
now.
mind, the budget.
2 million taken out of it, or added to it.
Anything you don't do here, you're going to have to cut from here.
I got that page, and I was looking at it, Mike, I'm sorry. There's a lot of pages to look at.
Which one?
I want to look at the solid waste over the years, what we have for revenue
Okay,
generation.
go to your back, to your last green sheet.
My last page. Green stamps for money.
Right.
The half sheet? Like the half sheet?
Yeah. That should give,
That's solid
3 years
waste?
actual, and
That's for solid waste, right?
we'll just go back about 3 pages.
From here?
Well, no, from the back end to get to the front of the solid waste one.
I know I see
Go
it
down one.
someplace.
One more.
That's not the public works,
Mm-hmm.
that's just the tipping fees.
Right.
And the tipping fees are like 1,600, or 1.6,
Right.
1.7, 1.9, 1.
And those fluctuate,
Yeah,
you
so
know.
it's under
On
2.
average, I'm always looking at 1.5, and then
Just go back one more page and you'll have page 1.
and like I said, about 500 for the assessment. Obviously, there's years where we got
Okay, go to back
contaminated
green.
soils or,
Right
you know,
here.
different materials that do come in.
This is first page of the estimated revenue for solid waste fund.
And interest is about 10 a year.
Okay, yeah, and that's the estimated revenue. And then there's 4 pages of it.
Yes, but right under, like 1.5 average, about 1.7.
On the tipping fee side.
So we're taking all your tipping fees, is what it looks like. Where it is.
For a year.
Yeah.
But obviously the next year we'll recoup and help cover that budget year's
Hope that
cost.
that'll help it.
So,
Hopefully we will too.
Yeah, exactly, It's gonna look like next year.
Here's
So
the
if I'm
one.
understanding this right, when you're looking at the solid waste estimated revenue, the bottom of the second page where it says 1.6 on the first column,
Yeah.
being 15 and going on. So current year, 1.7 is the revenue estimated from tipping fees, but not,
right, not special.
Not
additional.
actually, yeah.
And, as of June 30th, it was not at 50% of the 1.7.
and is the 4.2 their budget? Where, is that accounted in this, or that's completely
It has to
separate?
balance.
Okay.
So we're using $1 million, when it's all said and done, we're using $1 million, where did I get that sheet? Okay, cash used to finance the 2019 budget, that's that new cash sheet I gave you.
Yep, on the bottom.
On the bottom, so we'd be using $2,261,449.40 of landfill cash to finance the budget. So without the $2 million, he would have been using $261. It was a new sheet, yes, I guess, there you go.
And that would leave us for what, for surplus?
Okay, if you look down below on the bottom computation, that leaves him $787,079.84 operating balance. That's taking May cash plus remaining estimated revenue minus remaining budget expenditure authorization, and that's the 3.048, and then you subtract the 261 from that, leaves the 787.
How's that gonna affect your grants? Help them or not?
And then if you look up to
That
the
won't
general, your estimated cash balance is $2,012,000. We're using 1,247 of that.
Wait, where's your 2,012,000?
Yes, the top
Would
right.
General fund
The general
balance.
Got it.
Estimated balance.
So, without the 2 million down below, you would be using 3,247,000, and you don't have that in the general fund. So you either gotta cut a bunch or
Use it.
use it. Sorry, Mike.
And how does it affecting your grants?
Grants, that's always a question when that process takes place.
I mean,
You know,
before,
whether you had those funds available in the past, you know, and they got used for something, I don't know, it all depends on when you get up to the grant hearing and somebody asks you, well, did you have those funds to use for landfill at one time or not? Or, you know, it's all a variable, whether the question's asked or not, or whether they'll fund it. We're always looking for assistance with the grants.
yeah,
And,
really,
like it,
we have no place to take anything.
Well, no easy places to take things.
And cutting budgets,
and that's understandable, you know, like I said, that it'll assist in balancing this year's budget, but, you know, every year you go forward, it's,
because
you know, we don't have that excess.
We can't do that every year.
You can't do that because, you know, in order for us to put that money and make it available for, say, some next cell construction or, you know, the next $800,000 machine, or to assist in asphalt work at the landfill, all that stuff is is, looking forward, that those funds,
And
you know,
looking at,
should have been used for.
yeah, looking at the cheat sheet, there's really hard, I mean, there's no place to come up with it, and what's needed to spend, it's hard to, you know, 1,000 here, 1,000 there is not gonna make 2 million very fast.
And I guess that's your decision, you know, it's,
And that's not on your shoulders to come up with the solution.
right,
I
you know, our
just don't
funds
think it
are,
has to be an all or nothing. I mean, even if we find a few thousand more to take out of here,
Right,
yes, we
yes.
can supplement, but it's gonna be less of a pain in a year when we have to redo it, because I guess we're kind of at a stopping point, that if we don't do something, it's gonna be worse a year from now, I feel. And I know that none of these are gonna be easy, but even if we could find a little bit more to take out of here, it's less we do here.
Those nickel and dimes do add up, if you nickel and dime the other departments. Well, one year we talked about taking a percentage straight across, remember that, Tom?
Yep, I was just thinking the same thing.
Were you?
Cut everybody 5%.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what time of year it is.
And let them figure out where they want to make the adjustment.
I know I've seen it somewhere, but I'm trying to figure out where.
Probably on the...
And here they come, I can't cut mine because.
Yep. How am I gonna pay my
It's all
people?
personnel.
I couldn't
I
hide
mean, there's
mine.
so many variables. I mean,
I know.
It just looks
No, it's-
bad, but it's going to...
Like I said, we can put together a capital improvement plan, but, you know, it's there now.
Mhm.
You know, it's what we need in the future that, you know, obviously we don't need it all right now, but it is there for, and,
Well, you could, take it now, like he said, and realize
Probably
that
your cash
next year,
balances.
he
I
can
know I've seen it
sacrifice
somewhere,
that
yes.
much.
But see...
And then just tell people, start working on your budgets now,
$1,750,000.
and you better be cutting a certain percent.
Didn't the
And
governor do that a few years ago?
Whether it's through
Cut
personnel
everybody
or...
10%?
Has the rest of cell 3 construction to
Well,
come
and
out
Which is what?
of it.
Because we're adding some new people
Another
this year.
800,000 at least.
And I think one of them is in communications.
Is that why the difference between the budget presented and the almost 8,000 is? There's 8,000 left in that budget. Did you take out that
Which one?
on communications?
Okay, that,
They're up about 100.
No, they're down 79.55.
okay,
They were 1.1 last year, they're 1.2 this year.
No, I'm talking from cheat sheet to cheat sheet.
okay. It's down, 7,000.
79.55.50.
There were tweaks on, when I re-added it, there was an addition there. And then, there's still 6,000 in there for Mark Milbrandt.
But what's the other almost 2,000 in there?
Well, it's 7,000 out for Mark. And then there was a calculation error on the sheet, when I added them up.
So the 79.55 is getting rid of what in the communications? That's what I want to know.
7,000 of Mark Milbrandt's overseer
That's 500 that he gets paid.
every
That's
pay period. It
that's-
would be 500 a month rather than every pay period. By taking the
But-
So you're getting rid of what the contract said.
There's nothing in the contract
$6,000.
about that.
We're only responsible for half that, so it's only 3,000.
You can't look at it that way because you have to put the, well, yeah, it would just,
Because we have revenue coming back,
right,
because the city pays half that fee.
right. The total
But that's
fee,
not reflected in those numbers.
No.
We have to show the whole salary.
So the city
We
is
reimburse
agreeing
half.
for that?
I just got a voicemail from Captain McNeil.
Mhm.
He wants to discuss that, and that was just before the meeting, so I hadn't had a chance to call him. It was brought up at a communications meeting.
I heard that,
earlier,
yeah.
And I don't know where the city sets it, I guess. You know, it's probably something that I should sit down with Captain McNeil and Mark and discuss it. I mean, I don't think that's gonna make or break our budget that.
No, I know, but I was
think
wondering
it's-
where the reduction was and how it got
That's where
into
it
there.
was.
The other thing in there is right now it says presently we have 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, only 4 in the overnight shift. And we would feel better if they had the 5th. When I came on, I thought we were having only like 3. We're required to have 2. And I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice to have 5 on every shift, but I'm sure there's times, and you can look at the call log that he handed out, you're never going to guess 100% when the busy times are going to be, but that might be an area, because that's an extra FTE in that budget this year. And I don't know any other budgets that we increase FTE, do you guys?
Sheriff,
Sheriff, we did?
for your court security.
Carry. So, like I said, that would be one area where you take, I don't know how much of that increase in personnel is another person. I know they're making some other changes in that department, and I'm not saying it wouldn't be nice, but we've got a new head down there, and maybe this is his first budget that he submitted for the county. Give him a little more time to see where he's at, and if he truly needs it, it'll be in there again next year.
Maybe we should finish our agenda and then come back.
I was gonna say,
Well, that's it.
we'll do
You
the
know,
best we can to
Anything we can keep where it was, you'll
We
have
do
to
have
make that
some that we can work on to probably
determination, but,
get some of that, but, you
you
know,
know,
it's kind of like, we have 2 sources. We have landfill or highway. Basically, that's our 2 go-to.
I'll go halvesies with her.
And the numbers you've got in front of you.
To be quite honest with you, that's the only options we have, you know, I mean,
I lowered highway 500,000 and
Yeah.
did it to balance.
In
Yeah.
the new.
you know, you can
Going
take,
500 on that
you know,
one.
it's pretty hard to do anything with salaries. You know, that's pretty much a set number
Right,
for our...
and everything is understandable, you know, that's,
But there are places, probably 5,000, 10,000 here. If we can get a few of them, we can reduce the amount we have to take out of landfill. I guess that's kind of what we have to work on at this point. I mean, so it's like, it's either you or dirt.
Yeah. and we'll make up a little bit on the assessment fee,
Yeah.
you know, and like I said, we never know where we're at with revenue exactly. And like I said, you never know where some of the new hauling contract, I mean, that's a huge part of landfill basically, and part of Brown County is maintaining those 18 dump sites. And like I said, in order for someone to continue to do that, it's a big process, so.
Why, I think earlier somebody had said that this isn't necessary to go to every year to landfill. I mean, we have to fix it, because we can't drain that, or then, what do we do? Once we drain the landfill, then we go to Dirk and say, now we gotta reduce your budget by half. I mean, it's gotta be some...
Yeah, you, I mean, there's no way you can, because,
Right.
you know, you've got X number of things that have to be done and updated and upgraded
Right.
annually, and,
Well, throughout the
So,
well, you'll have to
questions you had.
Yeah.
we'll work with it.
decide that and how things are gonna work out in the end.
with
Um,
insurances, if I remember right.
Obviously, I'm not for it, but obviously that's not my decision to make, so.
Well, we'll see if we work through the budget. I think we'll work on that a little bit after we get through our agenda here and
$160,000.
see where we can trim and go through.
I think, do we have to approve this today? I thought that's why budget was on there. We have to finish it. Or am I wrong?
We have to finish it, I believe, but we could table it for now and come back to it.
Okay. That's why I was bringing these things up, because it was on the agenda there, so, but you can do it whenever you want.
That's the new total, sorry.
Oh.
Okay. I think the
Okay, just one more thing, landfill related, the pre-fall residential
Yep.
cleanup, I need those fees waived for those.
Second.
Moved by Hanson, second by Kipley to waive the fees for the fall cleanup and for the landfill. All in favor?
Aye. And that's hard to
Opposed?
believe, that starts next.
Maybe we should be charging.
You made that motion?
Half price.
Here we are, out of money here, waiving fees.
And just the last photo on the page is just our cell construction project.
That's impressive.
Where we're at, and if anybody gets a chance, stop out and see what you're spending $2 million on. Right now, they're working on placing clay liner on the floor. They got a south side slope to take out yet, but they're 45 feet in the ground, and, you know, we'll get a majority of that cell is done, but, still, there's quite a bit of dirt to move and some finish work to do, but it's coming along.
When will it be complete?
October 1st is
How long before you
substantial.
have to use it?
Well, we need to start placing waste in it as soon as they're done so we can help prevent freeze-thaw. So we're either gonna throw a bunch of compost on some of it that we can't get waste on. There's no way we'll cover even a third of the floor by the time it freezes. So not even a fourth. So we'll use our compost and our grass and leaves, and we'll just lay it on the side slopes and hopefully cover it up before it freezes.
We're gonna have to pay people to bring in more garbage?
Yeah.
More free weekend.
All in favor of waiving the fees for the fall cleanup?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, like I said,
Thanks,
anytime
Mike.
anybody's near, stop and take a look.
Will do.
Do you have to approve the budget today, or how come it's not on the agenda that we have
It's
to?
under
approve
where
it?
we're at.
It doesn't say
budget.
that, doesn't say that.
You don't approve it. All you
says
do
discuss
is give
it.
me the final numbers to add, to publish for the hearing in September. You don't approve it until the first Tuesday in September.
So there's still time to tweak it for you.
Well, I need the numbers today that go in the paper, and then you can have your hearing and make any changes
Right.
to the provisional rate.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
Thanks for coming in, Mike.
Yep.
Thank you.
But keep in mind, every change you make,
Christy Sarah had to run to court. You just want to jump to Dirk's agenda item, and then she was here for the qualifications. I don't think there's going to be anything for her to, but there's not going to be any issue, but she's wondering if you could move her item.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is Dirk out there?
Yep.
Dirk will
Have
be
him come
live.
front and center.
That's what I told her.
Dirk.
I said I'll text her when Dirk's here. It might be lunchtime.
What are you doing?
Sure.
I wanted to come see your presentation.
Oh, it'll be awesome.
Got a crowd of one.
Yeah.
Get an education there.
Yeah. I've got just a few documents pertaining to the turning lane project. Two of them are right-of-ways and one's a notice to proceed. I don't know how you want
Is that the turning by RDO? Which
Yeah.
turning?
to, RDO and, well, the RDO one is actually the state project.
Okay.
Ours is 8th Avenue in front of Moxon Creek Country Club and then 281 and Prairie Wood.
Gotcha.
So, anyway, I would recommend we sign the right-of-way documents for that project.
I would move those.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, seconded by Kipley to approve the right-of-way documents, the signing of them. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the other is just a notice to proceed for B&B for the same project.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, seconded by Fishback.
Did you have the notice of award with you?
Oh, I don't have it with me, I got it in my office. And I'll bring you, do you want the original or the copy of the contract that's got all the bond and stuff in it?
I think I've got the contracts.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, that's all I got.
This was notice of B&B to,
When you need
Notice
them,
to
you don't
proceed.
get it.
notice to proceed with B&B to do the turning lanes. Is that correct?
16 between the five. Is that still getting done this?
Yep,
Okay. It will be done this
Yep.
sometime? Okay.
there'll be some other paving too, I haven't quite figured that out. You can pave a lot later in the year than you can chip seal. So that's just hanging out there and we'll do that. It'll be sometime in September.
And then there's some, have they been up working on 5 to the east of 16? There's some...
Yeah, they sprayed some more. I think we're patching up there. I don't know, should have been up there yesterday. I don't know exactly where they're at, but we'll be
We had a
patching most
constituent
this
say,
week.
they came at the end of July, it's been 3 weeks, and I don't know why they just won't put something in that big hole.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways to do that. If you have so you got like 2 guys cleaning out holes and spraying them and getting them ready. And then you gotta have a little bit of time between doing that. You can't do that at 8 o'clock and at 8:15 put the mix in there. Okay, so those 2 things are connected, but they're also separate. And to keep them all together and move down the road, it's a little more costly than doing that. Now, the trade-off is, is when those guys get so far out ahead of them, and, you know, then you got the holes there for a while. But we've been pretty good about putting the signs out the last few years, you know, for it, and we get a lot of calls. It always amazes me, all of a sudden, I mean, there's nothing different about that practice on 5. We've been doing it, at least for 5 years since I've been back, we do it that way. But for some reason, we got quite a reaction up there. That's, you aren't the first one to ask me that question, so.
Just tell them, have faith, they're coming this
Yep.
fall.
Yep. I think over the years, maybe we've shattered their confidence, so they're afraid when you come by on Monday and don't show up Tuesday that something bad has happened. So, we're still slogging along. We're working out of Richmond. We're actually, one of our oil heaters went out last night, otherwise we'd be chip sealing the second lift and final lift on West Shore Drive today. And so over the next couple weeks, we'll be working our way on the drives at Richmond, and then we're going to hop out. We've got to do a little chip sealing on 6 and 10 to Warner, and then of course later this week that cold in place project will be starting in earnest on 23. So
We're gonna start that this week, huh?
yep, I hope.
Mile between the 212s leading into the landfill looks good.
Yep.
Yeah, great
Yep.
job on that one.
Turned out nice.
Well, there, see, that's happy. No, that came out pretty well, and 17 years since we did it the first time, so around here, that's not horrible to get almost 20 years out of a road, so especially that one, and we didn't plan on the elevator going in there when we built it either the first time, so.
Yeah, it was a dirt trail to start with.
Yep, so.
All in favor of the B&B to proceed with the work, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Let them finish at the landfill first.
All right,
Anything else, Dirk? I
Nope.
don't think there's...
tell me whatever my budget number is when you're done.
Well,
Not very big.
Yeah. All right.
we're just gonna keep you and Scott away from each other for a
That's
little
fine. I'll
bit.
get another back to you.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, thanks.
Thanks,
They went to landfill.
Thanks, Mike.
We'll wait a little bit for Chris. One of the other things, just a little note, we had a taxpayer that appealed his assessment on his parcel, and that went to appear to the Office of Hearing Examiners, and we got the ruling back, and it shows that our Brown County assessor was correct in his assessing of those parcels, just for information.
Or 2018.
2018, okay.
Correct.
I guess we'll wait for Christie to get back, hopefully. Do you want to wait for her to come back, Chris, you think? We can do some matches.
Go through the other items, and then if she doesn't
Match,
show,
you
we
wanna
Okay,
get some of yours?
the minutes from August 7th.
Second.
Moved by Fishback, second by Sutton, approve the August 7th minutes. All in favor?
I thought it
Opposed?
was that I wrote an H.
I'll sit back and those.
Claims.
Second.
Moved by Kifley, second by Sutton, approve claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The HR report with the addition of the additional temporary workers for the fair.
Second.
Moved by Hanson, second by Fishback, to approve the HR report with the amended for temporary workers for the fair. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Auditor's report of accounts.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Fishback, to approve the auditor's report of account. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I had South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance written down, but I think, Gary, you put that on next week? Okay.
next Tuesdays.
Okay. There was the claim assignment.
Second.
Moved by Kifley, second by Sutton, to approve the claim assignment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
A lottery application.
Move. Oh, I better not.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kifley, to approve the lottery application. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Authorize advertising public hearing for the special malt beverage license application submitted by Spurs.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Fishback, second by Kepley, to approve the malt beverage license for Spurs Special Event. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the Celtic Fair special malt, since that is on county property, we do not have to have a formal hearing. So you would need a motion to approve that special malt application if you so desire.
Move. Second.
Whatever.
Moved by Hanson, second by Sutton, to approve this special malt beverage license for the Celtic Fair. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we need to do operating transfers. Before you talk about the operating transfer motion, your resolution for your capital accumulation, okay, the payment was made, the 2018 payment was made for the building last Friday, and it's in, the only thing that's budgeted for anything like that is the 200,000 capital accumulations for the fairgrounds.
And that was 310, right? That we paid last Friday?
170.
170 the first? Okay.
167.5, I think it was.
Yeah,
167.
Well, we had earnest money that we had paid prior to that,
Yeah.
2,500 earnest
Yeah.
money, so it was actually 170.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the earnest money was paid back when
Yeah.
the purchase agreement was signed.
and with their budgets, the way they are, I would highly suggest that you rescind your capital outlay or amend it to put this first 200,000 towards the building and either rescind or if you use the 200,000 every year for the building, it's not really a capital accumulation because you're spending it as you budget it. I would suggest rescinding that motion for the capital accumulation, and there's two steps to it. You'd redesignate the 200 from this year to the building and then rescind the future accumulations until we get back on track.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a logical way to do it.
Any other options, Max?
Now keep in mind, these numbers look pretty bleak, but we don't know how conservative I was with the estimated revenue, and we don't know how many budgets will not be 100% spent, or how many will be overspent.
Yeah.
So the cash at the end of the year may look much better than the picture is now. But you have to treat each day like that's what you have.
Doug, I think you need to put on a memorandum, no budgets will be overspent. See how that works?
I would make a motion that we re-designate the 200,000 that we had set aside for fairground improvements to the purchase of the building for this year. Probably want to do it in two motions, don't we?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Motion by Sutton, second by Hanson, to redesignate the funds that were set for the fair to go towards the building. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then what was the second part that you...
If you want to rescind the resolution
For the ongoing years or
for
the upcoming
ongoing years, and that's on the cheat sheet,
It's that, I see that, it's
that could be
49.
Right.
that could be shifted to the commission budget for next year's payment on and just absorb the 10,000, because the
Yep.
payment's 210.
Mhm. That'd be good.
I'll make that motion also if no one else will.
Rescind
That will
the
rescind the resolution.
resolution 5117.
Right. The ongoing designation.
We have a
If
motion
you
by
want
Sutton.
that, do you want that motion to also say that goes into the commission budget, or can we do that?
No, that's just part of the budget
Okay.
shifting, yeah.
All right.
Okay, if you want to discuss the other...
I have
I've
a
got-
motion, I need a second
Yes.
to rescind the
Second.
resolution.
Sorry.
Motion by Sutton, second by Hanson to rescind the resolution 5117. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That brings me to the operating transfers, but if you want to take Christie's back.
Yep. Okay, I see Christie's back with us now. We discussed court-appointed attorney proposal. I guess the commission has probably agreed to accept the proposal with the contract to be worked out between Chris and the contract attorneys to finalize the contract portion of it.
Perfect.
And I guess, does that suffice for what we need at this point, Chris and Christie?
I think so.
Works for me.
Okay,
So you
so,
don't need a motion or anything until the actual is in front of us?
well, the contract actually isn't signed, I guess we're just accepting the proposal, aren't we, Chris? We have to,
I don't know if it's accepting the proposal, but saying that you're gonna work towards contract finalization now. The 600,000, you like that number, is probably the best way to put it.
Well,
May
nobody
I
likes that
ask
number.
for a stipulation in the contract that it be specified in there, whether it's 30 days, 60 days?
That's all the stuff we're gonna work on. I've already
Yeah.
discussed that.
Getting the vouchers in?
The vouchers in.
Yeah, we're aware of that. We know that there was a problem with that before, and I think we put in a 45-day one before, and the plan is to continue that. There's a lot of in-house things that the 9 of us have talked about to try and because most of us were involved with it when it was under the contract, and we know which things needed a little tweaking. So,
Okay, appreciate that.
that's, you know, we in fact, we had just discussed that we needed to make sure we kept the 45 days,
Yeah.
because it keeps our feet to the fire, and vouchers tend to be the last thing anybody wants to look at
Right,
when
okay.
there's no money involved at the end.
We're
We,
essentially gonna use the exact same contract that was
Okay.
used in 2015, I think it was.
can we entertain a motion to approve the contract with you and the attorneys working together on it?
That's fine. I mean, you're gonna end up having to, they're gonna have to approve you to sign it at some point, the commission is.
I'd make a motion to approve the proposal and have the state's attorney and the contract attorneys work on the contract.
I'll second that.
Moved by Sutton, second by Hanson to approve the contract proposal for court appointed. All in favor?
Aye.
They're just saying that.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay, Max, you had something else?
Okay, the operating transfers, the,
They were saying we
on the
couldn't do it.
18 budget for the 911 fund, the operating transfer is $267,130.67. For emergency management, it's $122,138.98. And currently, in the spring, we did $1 million to Road and Bridge, but now that their season is full swing and they're needing to pay more bills, I would recommend the operating transfer $2 additional $1 million. That will leave them a balance of $1,769,492.32 to be transferred later in the year if they need it. And this is another one of those, okay, if you don't transfer all this to highway, then you've got more money in the general fund, because this means the total is $2,389,269.65 cash and spending authority is going from the general fund to these 3 special revenue.
It's already been budgeted though, right?
It's budgeted,
Yeah.
right?
We're not adding, we're not
No,
supplementing.
no, not supplementing, but just keep in mind that, you know, you look at your cash balance for your general
Looks better than it is.
on the monthly reports, and this motion is going to take $2,389,000 out of it.
I would make a motion that we approve the operating transfers.
Second.
About the second half of property taxes coming up here in a couple months that will
Yeah.
help our...
And then, later in the year, this year, where is it going? In a couple of months probably, then determine the balance of the road and bridge.
Can you give me again the exact amount of that transfer?
Okay, $2,389,269.65.
Thank you.
We have a motion by Sutton, second by Fishback to approve the operating transfers of $2,389,269.65. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that's all I have.
Fair contracts we have to.
Oh, I forgot to write them down. Fair contracts.
Move them.
Second.
Moved by Fishback, second by Sutton to approve the fair contracts. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Doug, if I might, Cody stopped in to maybe visit with us briefly, if we want to maybe let him speak. I don't know how much time he has to sit here and listen to it.
It's always entertaining when Dirk's present. No, I just wanted to stop in. I saw Dwayne in the community a couple weeks ago volunteering, and stop in and say thanks. I was taking a few notes as I was sitting there, and I'm definitely going to put in my notes for my successor to make sure that Dirk presents any right-of-way permits to this group. It looks like a lot easier process and a lot less time, so no, I'm joking. I really appreciate working with you guys a few years ago on that process. Thanks to Doug and Mike before him for helping us out at the airport as a liaison. Your input's been extremely valuable. If you couldn't tell when Dirk came in, I've worked with him quite a bit, Scott Meitz, Tom Schmidt, Gary. Thanks to all of you for all the help you've provided us at the airport. And thanks to the whole commission for your support through the airport and of Rideline. One thing I do want to bring before the commission before I depart, just to forewarn you ahead of time, the state of South Dakota DOT is visiting with transit agencies around the state, and they focused on our operation with the City of Aberdeen Rideline, which my successor will also oversee. And they've been pushing a concept of regionalization that we've discussed with the City Council. And I see that continuing to evolve. And I know money's tight here, it's tight over there too, but you might see a concept before you where it's reaching out further in Brown County beyond the Aberdeen borders, and even beyond the Brown County borders to try to better connect South Dakota through transit. So just keep that in mind, and there might be somebody here in the next 12 to 24 months talking to you about that, and certainly hope that you support that in any way you possibly can. And thanks again for all the support you've given us in my time here with the City of Aberdeen. So.
Thanks for helping us defuse that little problem we have. I think you did a good job with the landowners and made them a little more comfortable with what you were doing out there, and took some time, but
yeah,
I think it was worth it.
Well, thanks for your help with that as well.
So good luck to you in your new venture.
Thank you guys. I'll send you pictures.
Working for the county is going to be awesome.
Send pictures in the winter when you don't have snow.
I'm going to be watching what my guys are publishing during snow events out there, considering I won't be playing with anybody. I'll send you guys some pictures of the sunshine.
Well, thanks, Tony. I appreciate all that you did for the
Take care.
community.
Thank you for coming out, Cody.
Thanks, Tom.
Best of luck in your new venture.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
It's over your car.
Try to remember on the way out.
Thanks again, Cody, for your
Yeah,
help.
appreciate it. Thanks.
Cody.
So when was the final day?
Mid-September.
Okay.
I have a transit conference in Brookings and be dragging the U-Haul trailer down there and then westbound after that.
Okay.
Good for you.
Thank you guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Gary, do you have anything else for us? or-
I just wanted to let you know, I did contact communications, and we'll get our daily reports again for Fair Week, so,
Oh, good.
so they'll be working on that, and we should have something shortly for yesterday.
Hopefully it's a short report for
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
Max, you had everything?
Yep.
I guess, do we want to stay live for budget, or do we want to work on some numbers, or?
We're gonna have to make a motion, aren't we, or don't we?
We don't have to approve it.
No, you could have a motion to authorize advertising the public hearing, but,
Is that what you want us to do?
you usually do, I guess.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Kepley, second by Sutton, to authorize advertising.
Provisional budget.
Provisional budget?
Hearing.
Using the numbers we have currently, or the numbers we will give you?
We'll give them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in
This way
favor?
we're hashing it up. Go ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So then we'll discuss numbers. At this point, is there anything else to come before the commission? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Wait a minute.
Wait,
Oh, oh, oh.
Hey.
I didn't, we
Didn't
didn't
get a
get a second,
second.
we're good.
Christie had just brought up, go ahead, Christie, I'll let you.
Well, I know that there's been concern about the illness, being the chairman, and the money that's coming through. And, you know, I was talking to Chris about some way to maybe come up with a plan that we can figure out what that's going to cost you, kind of the contract type thing. It is, without a doubt, the most labor-intensive thing I've done in my legal practice. It is 24/7. I mean, I get calls just about every night in the middle of the night. Police, Sanford, True North, jail. I mean, it's just, you know. That said, I mean, I know that you guys need to have some idea of what that's going to cost, and I was wondering if you were thinking that maybe you would like to do a contract, kind of like we did for the public defenders. Just say this is the amount, and then, you know, do the paperwork and all of that under that.
Because currently it's at the attorney hourly rate.
Right, the 90, what is it, 94?
94.
Yeah.
That's terrible, that I don't know that.
And I said to Christie, I don't know what the budget is, but if you're gonna wanna discuss this, it sounds like the budget's getting approved today.
Well, the provisional.
The provisional budget's getting
Get ready
approved to
for
be
the hearing.
published, yeah.
What do we have budgeted, and what we...
20,000.
How much we have, buddy?
Choice mental health.
The board, it's page 31.
How much is it?
Mental illness is 20,000. What have we spent year to date? Do we have that? Through the first half of the year?
It's, 445 is the code. Account.
Yeah, this obviously won't get worked out today, but it's something to think about.
Yep, yep.
There you go. So it's the 30,000 professional fees?
20.
Amount requested, you're looking under...
31. Mental illness board is 20,000.
I gotcha.
And, we budgeted for 2018 $5,000, so of course we're a little over.
Just a tad.
As of August, no, this must be, this report was printed August 7th, so there's no expenditures for August in this, so this would be the July 31st year-to-date expenditures, $17,150.30. So,
We're talking 30, aren't we?
yeah, the chances are, the 20 isn't going to cut it. We'll probably have to fall back on contingency or shift it today.
And just off the top of my head, I'd have to look at the statute, but I think the way it's set up is the commission sets the rate, the presiding judge appoints who does it. So I think you could set the hourly rate or the contractual amount, but again, I'd have to do some research. And then the presiding judge, Judge Myron, would appoint who essentially is the head of it and makes that money.
And
We
you-
could set
you've been doing
$20
that.
an hour and
I've been doing it since Judge Anderson stopped doing it.
Okay.
I will tell you, just so you kind of have an idea of the paperwork involved, I now have a area that's about half of your table with drawers, and they're all full, and they all need orders. And they all need...
Since when was that you took over?
It was middle of last year, I think, sometime, that the judge asked me. I mean, it's just every single person that comes through, you know, we get maybe 20 a week has to have an order. Either has to be a dismissal, or it has to be a temporary hold, or they have to go to Yankton. It's a lot of just... And then you don't get all of the paperwork at one time, so you have to wait for the originals from the police department and from the hospitals, and then so you have to kind of have them all, which is why you keep seeing the administration ones, because just opening the mail, there's usually about 10, 15 letters, and then I have to figure out if they go with somebody else or that sort of thing. It's pretty labor intensive. It's getting easier. It's getting a lot. So we've kind of got a system, where I've got a system on it, and I've got a good rapport set up with the guys so that they know what they need to tell me, and I don't spend 20 minutes on the phone at night. But it's not just, yeah, go ahead and do it and signing a piece of paper. It's a lot of paperwork involved. I don't know how Judge Anderson did it, to be honest with you.
So before, when Judge Anderson was doing it, we weren't paying for that,
Not
he
at
was
all.
just doing
Doing
it.
it.
So now it's...
State law prohibits the judge from getting paid for it.
And
Right,
historically,
right.
yeah, the statute, I believe, says the presiding judge could also appoint another judge to do it. Historically, the law clerk
did it all.
was doing a lot of it.
Yeah.
Every law clerk you talk to from the last 20
Yeah.
years
Sure.
say that was my main job.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's because everyone...
My chief deputy was one of them. He said that's pretty much all I did was... Sure.
Yeah, I had no idea. The first weekend I had 10 emergency commitments that weekend. I thought I had made a serious mistake. Seriously, I called Judge Myron. Are you kidding me? But, you know, it's something to think about, because I know that it's a concern. I know that the judge has, and I've talked about it, he's pleased with the work I'm doing, because I kind of keep touching base with him to see if he's had any complaints or anybody's, and I seem to be getting good feedback from the Northeastern Mental Health and June. So, you know, I'm willing to work with you guys on it too, because I know it's pretty much out there, you never know.
So, and you're obligated to that as long as the judge keeps you appointed to that position.
Yes.
Or can you say no?
Oh, yeah.
You can.
Oh, yeah. I've been the Spink County chairman since, I was, well, this will tell you, those of you that have been here forever, I was the youngest attorney in town. That was a long time ago, so it was kind of one of those where once you're in, kind of, but in Spink County we have one a month, maybe. It was a really busy year.
And theirs is hourly too?
Do they do the same attorney rate?
Yes, they do it for that, and I'm also the chairman of the developmental board in Spink County, which we have actually more than we do mental illness because of the developmental center.
Hospital, yeah.
That's good input. I guess we can look at it as a board and see if that would be something that would be feasible with that contract, or where we're at with that, but I don't know that we're ready at this point in time to do anything with it, but it's good good input. I think it's valuable to...
Well, and Chris had just told me that there had been some concern, and I just wanted to let you know kind of what was involved, because I do them in Spink County, and I had no idea how Brown County was, how different it was, but having two north here, it's just massive, how many people we get through here.
Build it and they will come.
You got that right. You got that right. All right. Well,
Okay, well, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm out of here.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
We had a motion to adjourn, I believe, by Sutton, but did not have a second.
I should have died, right?
Second.
Well, we got interrupted, but I don't... Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.